Hi, thanks for tuning in. I'd like to talk about loss and loss of relationship. And I was going to talk about death and just loss of a relationship, but I thought, let me focus on one. Because I feel like the grief that goes with them can be quite different. And we'll start with loss of relationship. Now, it could be any relationship. It could be a family member that you have a fallout with. It could be a friend, and it could be a partner. All of them have their different types of pain depending on the type of connection that was there and the reasons that things ended and how things ended. And it's never easy, but there's always a reason that people are in your life, and there's always a reason if they do leave your life. I personally have had many lessons from losing people, and you can also choose how to react to these situations. You could open yourself to what the real meaning is of losing this particular person, and if it means that you needed a lesson and then move on and grow, or does it also mean like now you had to lose them to make space for something better in your life. It doesn't make it any easier most of the time, but it helps to know that there's always a light at the end, and sometimes the loss has to happen because the connection might have expired in this life. Maybe there was too much conflict and it was too much to resolve in this life, so you could just do so much before it was just time to leave that. So my struggle is very strong at this moment, and it's almost like I don't know how to accept things, because I would definitely, I know that my heart is always in a good place, but in terms of romantic relationships, there tends to be some level of like, it's everything moves very, very quickly to the point where it goes so fast that it ends fast as well. And it's hard to deal with the pain, because when you live in the moment and you live kind of just enjoying the person, you start to, like, when it ends, you start to, it's easy to question, like, if it was even real, So things always are, they're always coming with different lessons, and the way things happen also give you an idea of just what it is that needs to be learned, especially if the way things are happening with different people in your life and the pattern keeps repeating over and over, then you are attracting this person or this type of person for a reason. And so, as much as each person is completely different, there is something that there's a common trait, and until you heal the wound that is attracting that common thing, you will keep attracting it. And it might not just be in romantic partners, it could be in friendships, and family members will keep poking at the wounds as well. And it's when you learn and fully release the blocks that are holding you from being yourself that you draw in a different energy to you. So if someone doesn't feel worthy, or they feel they need attention and they need love, yet they don't fully love themselves, then more likely than not, in terms of romantic partners, you will attract someone who possibly will not fully give you the love that you can't even give to yourself. And this is pretty much a fact because I've witnessed it in my own life over and over. And it's quite painful because it's hard to see. It's hard to see when things are happening. It's really hard to see when you're in it. And when something is not going right in some sort of relationship, you tend, like if you're very needing that love, you will almost convince yourself that everything is okay and that things will work because you can't, you're so blinded by the love you have for the person that you don't really know, or you don't listen to the signs that are telling you something's off. And then you try and force things to work because you don't want to lose this person. So this is something that can end painfully because then you almost have no choice when it gets to the extreme point of almost toxicity. And some people, like with family members, will choose to cut them off because they, in their current state, have no capacity to actually heal the relationship. They have to separate themselves from the situation. With family, it might be different though, because there is some level of unconditional love. But with relationships, if it's cut, usually it's broken, and it's usually for good, unless both people come to some sort of an awakening within themselves, and in that awakening, they can be together again, but in a more genuine and authentic way, which does not create the conflict that there was before. But it has to be such an authentic, open awakening within themselves to be who they are. And that's I don't know if that happens often, but if anyone wants to share their story with me, that'd be great, because right now I haven't seen it yet, and I have yet to see it. I have hope to see some sort of awakening within myself. It's happening slowly. It's there. I feel it. But from a person that I had to let go of, I don't know, and I feel like if the awakening had happened, everything actually would have been perfectly fine. So sometimes things are not supposed to work out, and the loss has to happen, and it could just be because there's something better waiting, or within that relationship, that maybe there's a time that needs to heal it. I know a lot of people say, oh, people never change, but it's not even about changing. It's about just becoming yourself, right? And there is no need to change, because the shift in who you are is what it is. It's coming to who you are. And if more people who meet initially have a really good chemistry together, if they would just stay in that space of authenticity and playfulness and love, there would be a lot less issues, and a lot of people could maintain a more healthy relationship, and it could be for life. And there are those people there that do it, and they just know that they want that person, and they know they can do it, and they try, and they make it work. For others, it's too much energy, because there's too much karma, there's too much pain, there's too many wounds. So the loss can be painful, and I really just, whoever's listening and this resonates with you, and you're going through something like this, or you have been, or you know someone going through this, just encourage and know that it's all for the good. Whatever is happening, it's the loss, the letting go, it's all creating an opening, and it's a purge and an opening of something even better. And the space that you have when you release yourself from another person you cannot interact with, that space will give you the space you need to come back to who you are. And some people, they don't know how to be with themselves when that person's not there anymore. And this is where some of the struggle does come in, because you've relied so much on that person to give you love. But if you really tune in and appreciate the space that you have, and start doing things you never used to do, and you don't know, you could discover parts about you that you didn't know were there. And the more you discover about yourself, and the more you know who you are, and the more you act like who you are, the more you will draw the right people into your life. That's all I'd like to say about that. I think my heart's in a lot of pain right now, so that's why I had to express some of this. And in the meantime, obviously, I want to help other people going through similar things. It's never the end. There's always more. Just trust that the universe is taking care of you. There's a lot more coming. So that's all. Thank you.